evening, everyone. I am Priyanka Mishra, founder of BrainoScript and a trusted expert on accelerating self growth using neuroscience. So, today we are going to talk about master your mind and stay in control. So, brain, I'm a very big advocate of helping people understand how their brain actually works. If you do not understand the software, this computer that we are carrying above our shoulders, we will not be able to optimize our life. We will not be able to give justice to the intelligence, to the emotions, to the talent, and the skill set that we bring to the planet. So, for that, the first step has to be awareness, has to be who we are. And today, I'm going to dive you deep into the world of neuroscience. I will be telling you why and how do you feel the emotions that you feel, how you get triggered, how can you respond properly without damaging the relationship, without damaging the deal, or without damaging any of the external things. So, it is basically a part of emotional intelligence, a huge part of emotional intelligence. Before getting into this, whatever platform you're watching this video on, I request you to keep a paper and pen ready so that you can take quick notes. Okay? There are going to be a lot of insights in this session which are going to be useful for you in the future. Without wasting any further time, let us get inside of this. The thing that I want to share with all of you is called amygdala hijack. What is amygdala? First questions first. Amygdala is an almond shaped, very small organ inside of your brain, a part of your brain, very small one, which takes care of all the emotions, fight, flight, and freeze response. You can say that amygdala is kind of an emergency brake in the car of your entire body. Okay. So your amygdala keeps on looking in the surrounding to find out all the problems, find out all the dangers so that it can keep you safe. Okay. Before moving any further, let me tell you that your brain is hardwired for survival, not for success. So, whatever you do, the first and foremost programming of your human brain is to survive. Okay, your brain wants to protect you, your brain wants to keep you safe, and that is why it keeps a boundary around things. That is why you feel afraid, that is why you freeze, that is why you move away from something. Okay, so this amygdala, it gets hijacked by triggers. Okay, so let me take you back into the history when we were like cavemen, or when we were back in the history when we were hunters. At that time, the probability of life was very less. Okay, so if a caveman moves out of the cave for hunting, the chances of the man killing the tiger or the tiger killing the man were equal. So the probability of coming back was 50%. In fact, the probability of life was so low that the brain started programming itself in such a way so that it keeps the body away from all the probable dangers. Okay. Now what happened? Coming fast forward to 21st century where we are living in. Today, there is no tiger waiting outside of my door to kill me. Definitely not that. But still, my brain keeps on searching for these triggers that what can kill Priyanka. I will tell you what happens. Amygdala gets hijacked as soon as you are triggered by something which is unexpected, which is uncertain, and which is out of your comfort zone, which is difficult. For an example, you're working on a project and tomorrow is your presentation. And tonight your boss comes, taps you on your shoulder and says that, this presentation, it doesn't look good at all. It is pathetic. What happens here is suddenly your amygdala gets hijacked. And as soon as your amygdala gets hijacked, you respond in three manners. Only three manners. You'll fly away, either you'll run away, you'll not confront. The second one is you will fight. You will start arguing with the person saying that, how can you say that the presentation doesn't look good? Don't you see this? Have you ever been through any presentation like this? So on and so forth. And the third one is you freeze. You're so afraid that you do not know what to do here. Now, why this happens, let me explain it to you. The neocortex or the prefrontal cortex of our brain is the rational brain. It is very newly formed. Okay. But to reach to this newly formed neocortex, before that, there are two more layers of the brain which are deeply ingrained. And this brain that you and I are carrying above our shoulders, it is not 20, 30, 40, 50 years old. No. We are holding the information of the millions of years of evolution that we've been through. Okay. So because of these informations, because of this memory, because of this programming, what has happened is our brain, our amygdala, it is created in such a way that as soon as you find any danger, you just imagine like this, this is the, what do you say, the core part of the brain. You might say that amygdala resides here, and this is the neocortex, okay, prefrontal cortex, the decision making, the intelligent brain. As soon as you feel that there is some danger coming, you flip your lid. What do I mean by flipping the lid? Your brain literally loses the contact with your intelligent brain, and you get into that defensive, um, kind of afraid and fighter kind of amygdala, and you start responding in such a way which you regret in future. If you do not believe me, think about all the experiences when you were a child and you said something to your mother out of frustration and later you regret. You say something to your best friend and you ruin the relationship and then you regret. So all of these things happen. Whatever we say and then we regret later has happened because at that point in time we were hijacked by this amygdala. Okay? How? Why? Let me explain it to you in detail. Knowing others is intelligence. Knowing yourself is wisdom. And today I'm going to give you this little wisdom so that you know and understand yourself in a better way. When you understand that why are you doing this and it has a scientific background behind it, you can train yourself to behave in a better way. You can have a strategy to behave in a better way. And you know what? I am going to give you this strategy of 6 steps later in the part of this session. This comes from Triune brain theory, which says that our brain has 3 layers of evolution. Okay, so the first layer is reptilian brain. The first and the most, like the core part of your brain, it is called the reptilian brain. Okay, I'll not get into the scientific names of things. I do not want to confuse you here, but understand that when the life started on this planet, we started as reptiles. Do you know the response of a reptile? Imagine a lizard is there. If you click your finger, either the lizard will run, or it will fight back, or it will freeze and stay there. Okay, so these are the 3 responses of the reptilian brain. As soon as you're triggered, as soon as something unexpected comes your way, what happens is you do not know what to do and you enter into this fight, flight, or freeze zone. Okay, when you enter into this fight, flight, or freeze zone, you actually cannot think rationally. There are a lot of times when you might have experienced that. What made me say that? How can I speak in such an illogical way? How can I think that? No, you were not thinking at that point, because the capacity of reasoning, the capacity of thinking, the capacity of logically understanding anything resides in your prefrontal cortex. That is the newest developed layer of your brain. Okay, it is the newest member of the family. So your lid is already flipped. You are not thinking at all. Okay. The second thing, the second layer of your brain is called the mammal brain. Now this mammal brain has all the emotions. Okay. It takes all the emotions and processes all the emotions, love, hate, anger, all of this. The mammal brain intensifies it. Okay. You get your emotions at this point. And the last layer is called the human brain. The human brain is the rational brain. Okay, what happens here is your brain starts thinking in a logical way. You can compare two things, you can think and strategize about the future, you can logically rethink yourself. You can also, like, if you and someone else is into an argument, when your human brain is working, when your prefrontal cortex is working, you can also move out of this discussion, not physically. In your imagination, you can move out of this discussion and you can look at yourself as a third person perspective and listen to your own arguments and correct yourself. That is the power of human brain. We are so much powerful of thinking strategically. We are so much powerful of thinking about the future. We are so much powerful to plan about the future, to plan the response. But the problem is that when something triggers us, the gap is very small. Unless and until we keep on practicing and looking into this gap, if we are not aware of it, this gap is so small that before thinking of responding, we react. This happens with almost everyone who is not who has not trained their brain in a specific way, who has not given the brain specific command that how to behave when something happens. Now I'll share a story with you. Imagine like when you were small, the first time when you had a fight with your best friend, you value the relationship more. But when you had a fight with that person, you ruined that relationship for 2 days, Katti. 2 days you didn't speak to each other. But while these 2 days, when you were not speaking to your best friend, you realized that, okay, my friend doesn't like this, I don't like this. Now, what should I do so that in future we do not enter into these zones so that we do not fight because we want to stay with each other and we want to play with each other. The same scenario happens today with your best friends, with your spouse, with your relationship, everyone. Okay. So what happens here is the next time when you have a fight, you create a plan and strategy for that. Okay. We all do this. Eventually, this is what our intelligence is all about. We keep on thinking and we keep on understanding a person. Okay, this is something that triggers her and she matters for me. I will not do that. Okay. And if I had to do that, I will instruct her in prior, in advance, that see, I have to do this because of this. Okay. So human brain is rational, human brain is intelligent, and it can plan and strategize everything in the future. Now what I want you to do here is, I want you to understand that every stimuli or every trigger that come to you, you always get a gap to think. If you use this gap, you respond intelligently. If you do not use this gap, you flip your lid and you fight, flight, or freeze. Okay, I would repeat this again so that it gets inside of you as deep as you can take it. When you are into any danger, see, danger has not to be life threatening danger. Your spouse had a fight with you, your boss said something wrong to you, your manager spoke something wrong about you, you are disappointed by someone, someone does not meet your expectation, anything like this happens, your amygdala, it gets hijacked, you get triggered by these points, and these triggers are different for different people. Okay, so once you understand that, okay, thing is triggering me and I am responding. Between these two transactions, there is a very small gap. And if you understand this gap, you can strategize your response. You will not react, you will respond. Okay. Now, how to do that on a regular basis? I want all of you to take a screenshot of this because this is something which is crucial. 6 steps to control your emotions. The first step is to stop and breathe. You'll say, come on, Priyanka. I keep on breathing, okay? From cradle to cradle, we all breathe. What is big in that? Understand. When you are emotionally hijacked, when the amygdala is triggered, at that time, you start taking shallow breaths. And understand that your brain, it is a very small organ, but it needs 20% of the oxygen of the entire body to process properly. Okay, so when you breathe shallow, the requirement of your brain is not fulfilled. At the same time, your heart rate changes. You need to slow down your heart rate so that you can start rethinking logically about the same situation. It is all science, it is all neuroscience. This is how you and me, we are hardwired. Okay, we are designed like that. So now, if you want to lower your breathing rate, if you want to lower your heart rate, what you have to do, you have to start taking deep breaths. How do you do that? You have to do it intentionally, because if you do not do it intentionally, in the moment of heat, you cannot deep breathe. I'll give you an exercise here. It is called 478. 4, for the count of 4, you breathe in, you hold it for the count of 7, and you slowly exhale on the count of 8. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 in, hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, when you exhale for 8, the next time when the 4 comes, you inhale so deep that your prefrontal cortex again gets wired. Okay, you start getting into the present. The second step is awareness. You need awareness of the thoughts and the feeling in your body. Okay, when someone says something, when some expectations are not met, when you are emotionally hurt, when someone back answers you, something like that happens, you can find this into two ways. You can listen to your own thoughts. Okay, you have to be aware of what am I thinking right now. Two things. Okay, thinking and feeling in body. So what are you thinking right now? That is the first thing. What are the thoughts going on in my head? You have to think about it. The second thing is, how is it feeling in my body? Are my shoulders up? Are my jaws clenched? Are my fists clenched? Am I taking a lot of stress about it? Ask yourself. Once you're aware of it, understand, when you're aware of how is it reacting in your body, you get the capacity to release that. Okay. The next one is accept the emotion. Once you feel that, okay, I am frustrated, I am agitated, I am angry for this, rather than saying that, no, 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 I don't get angry, no, this is not happening to me, I might not, I'm just a little upset, it is not the way I'm feeling. If you keep on denying your feelings, these feelings, they do not vanish somewhere, okay, they keep on piling one above the other, one above the other. And these emotions, when they create a pile inside of you get an outburst where it is not desired, where it is not recommended. Okay, you spill the beans where you're not allowed to. So, awareness of your thoughts, what you're thinking, and awareness of how you're feeling it in your body. Both of these things. This is the step number two. Step number three, accepting the emotion, understanding the emotion. Okay, I repeated it. Accept the emotion, understand that, okay, this is what I'm feeling right now. The fourth one is realize that it is temporary. The emotion bubble that we get, it lasts from 60 to 90 seconds of window frame, not more than that. But in those 90 seconds, we tell ourselves repeated stories, because of which this gets elongated. But at the same time, if you remember, if you tell it to yourself, that realize that this emotion is temporary, it is going to fly away, it is going to vanish, and the wave will settle. Okay, this is one quote that I really want to share with all of you. Eventually, all waves settle. So, whenever I am agitated, whenever I am frustrated, whenever my buttons are pushed, I talk to myself in this way. I keep on saying the same thing, that eventually all waves settle, whatever it is. Uh, how big blunderous mistake it is, whatever it is, eventually everything settles down. Because you know what? You want to talk through in such a way that you're not reacting, you're responding intelligently. Okay. So you have to realize and remember that it is temporary. Okay. The next one is investigate the emotion. Now, once you realize that it is temporary, you are back to your sanity. Okay. The level of the peak of emotion comes down by the time you reach step number five. Now you have to investigate this emotion, that why am I feeling triggered? If my boss said this to me, why am I not taking it as a feedback? Why am I trying to fight back? Am I afraid of the presentation tomorrow? Am I insecure about something? Am I not ready to take any criticism? What is happening inside of me? When you investigate the emotion, one thing takes you to the next, takes you to the next, and eventually you get to know what is the real cause of that outburst. Okay, it is very much important, and I would recommend you, if you write it down on a piece of paper, to start asking yourself questions and write down those answers on a piece of paper. You actually reconnect with your prefrontal cortex. Once the connection is established properly, again comes the sixth step: decide a response. Now you can decide a response around it. You can think that, okay, this has happened, I am feeling this. What is the best way I can respond right now so that the things do not damage further? Okay, it is about your impression, it is about your job, it is about your career, it is about your relationship, it is about the pitch of the business. Everything that you do, ultimately, what we are doing, we are dealing with humans on a day to day basis. And what are humans? Humans are a bundle of complex emotions. If we understand this, and if we just try to, take pull out one thing at a time, one thing at a time, eventually we get to know that, okay, these emotions, they are messengers. Okay, they are here to tell us about our inner self, the depth of our, what do you say, being. Okay, so I'll give you an example, and I will wrap this session up with that. Imagine that you are in a meeting hall, and suddenly, the people, they're repeating the same point again and again, and in circle, they're talking about the same topic again and again, and the meeting is not going through to the next phase, or it is kind of waste of time for you. You get triggered. You try to think, you try to talk to people that please don't repeat the point, but you cannot say that. And because of which you kept on piling this up, and eventually you bursted out. You're the boss in the room, and you bursted out and you said that we are wasting our time in this meeting. This is scene one. Scene two, the same thing. Meeting is going on, you are the boss of the group, and everyone is talking the same thing again and again. But now you know the six-step strategy. Okay. So as soon as you realize that, okay, I am feeling uncomfortable here, something inside of me is causing this discomfort. Okay. You get this feeling even before busting out. Okay. So once you get this feeling, you will start with the step number one. You'll stop and you'll start breathing. People are watching you. Okay. No need to stop and go out. You can start breathing in a counted manner there, then and there. Once you breathe for 2, 3 times, you get the awareness that, okay, I am getting triggered because these people are continuously saying the same thing, and my belief or my principle of efficient time management is getting disrupted here, and that is why I'm feeling frustrated. Comes the third step, accept the emotion. You accepted that, yes, I am feeling frustrated because of these actions around. Now, you tell it to yourself that, okay, this is temporary. This emotion, this frustration is temporary. What can I do? Then comes the fourth one, investigate the emotion. Now, when you are investigating, you get to know that if I get back to this meeting and wrap it up in my desired time frame, I can come back and feel better. So, what to do now? That comes the step number six. I have to decide a response. How will I respond now? I will not shout. I will not get agitated. I will respond in a manner that, all right, people, I understood that you said point number this, you said point this, you said point this, and I agree to all the three of the point of views. Let me know what you think and let us move further in the meeting. Now, you changed the response from the people coming to you in a very intelligent way by just changing the way you're speaking by following these six steps. Okay, I hope and believe that these six steps, you'll say that, Priyanka, come on, this is too much to remember. No, it is not. It flows with each other. Okay, it is not kind of step number one done, step number two done. No, it is not like that. You stop and breathe for 2 to 3 times. You give the sanity. You be aware about what is happening. You accept that you're feeling that. Do not deny your emotion. You realize that it is temporary. It will move on. You investigate that, okay, what is the principle or what is the belief that is getting disrupted, what is the expectation that is unmet, what is it that is triggering me, and then you decide your response. Now, I want to tell you one thing. Your brain is a genie. Okay, if you command your brain properly, your brain responds in that specific manner. If you do not command your brain in a specific manner, if you do not tell your brain what to do at a certain time, your brain gets into this panic. And what is panic? Again, the lid gets flipped. You are into flight, or freeze mode. And all the three zones, they do not serve you good. They do not elevate your level. They do not make the deal done. They do not keep the friendship. They do not make the relationship. Okay. So what you have to do is you have to tell it to your brain beforehand that how to behave when something goes not as per your desires. Okay. You have to be prepared with that plan. And trust me, if you keep on telling your brain that, okay, I am going for this pitch. If people just don't like me, what will I do? I am going to talk about this. I'm going to like propose a handsome guy. If the boy rejects me, how am I going to respond? If you keep this plan ready, your brain knows how to react. If you do not tell your brain how to react, it gets into panic, and there is all the distress that starts. I'm not talking about any specific moment in your life. You're continuously getting into emotions with each other human being, and you're continuously, continuously your belief system is getting disrupted by some person or the other. You keep expectations for your children, spouse, relatives, friends, and they are getting not, they are unmet. All of these things, you have to follow these six steps, and you are good to go. But this requires practice. Okay. This really requires practice because breathing itself becomes very difficult when you are starting off at something. You're so much panicked that the amygdala, it gets hijacked and your lid is flipped. Your prefrontal cortex is out of your zone. You cannot think rationally. At that time, just remember one thing, breathe. Okay. 4, 7, 8. Count 4 to breathe in, hold for 7, breathe out for 8. This will take care of like 50% of your problem. I hope and believe that you found value in this session. Thank you so much for attending this. It was a pleasure talking to all of you. And follow us on all of our social media handles, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube for regular updates on self growth using neuroscience.